Am I the only one that didn't know how ingenious medieval survival really was? Hey everyone, welcome back. If you love uncovering the secrets of the past, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on our fascinating journeys into history. History often overlooks the quiet brilliance of everyday survival. The medieval era, often seen as dark and primitive, was actually a time of remarkable practical knowledge. Medieval peasants, far from ignorant, developed ingenious ways to preserve food and ensure survival. Centuries before science could explain their methods. In humble cottages, a silent revolution unfolded, not with weapons, but with salt, smoke, and a deep understanding of nature. These were sophisticated, time-tested techniques passed down through generations that kept communities alive through harsh winters and lean harvests. Today, we'll uncover these forgotten secrets, evidence of human adaptation and observation at its finest. The story of survival is the story of us all, and some of its most fascinating chapters are waiting to be rediscovered. Autumn slaughter meant survival, but preserving meat was a race against decay. Salt was precious and taxed, so common folk turned to a clever alternative wood ash from their fires. Meat was coated in fine ash and hung in cool, dry places, an approach that looked crude but was pure chemistry. The ash drew out moisture, dehydrating the meat and halting bacterial growth. Its high alkalinity created a hostile environment for spoilage and pests, forming a protective crust. Authorities distrusted the method, often banning it as unsanitary, but villagers knew better. This grassroots science endured in secret, passed from parent to child. When needed, the ash was brushed away, revealing perfectly preserved meat. It was a victory of practical wisdom over official skepticism. In the end, the poor man's method proved to be a quiet triumph of survival. The science was invisible, but the results were undeniable. Ash preservation was a testament to the ingenuity of those who refused to go hungry. Along medieval coasts, fishermen turned waste into treasure with fermented fish sauce, garum. Fish scraps and salt were layered in vats and left to ferment, creating a nutrient-rich, umami-packed liquid. Salt drew out water, preventing harmful bacteria, while enzymes and salt-loving microbes transformed the mixture. The result, a savoury condiment full of essential nutrients, especially B12. Despite its value, garum's pungent smell led to bans and regulations. Authorities saw it as a nuisance, but for coastal communities it was a vital food source. The practice persisted, turning inevitable waste into liquid gold. This was survival through fermentation, flavour and resourcefulness. Even when outlawed, the knowledge endured, hidden in kitchens, not records. Garum was a taste of the sea and a lifeline for the poor. Clean water was a medieval challenge, with wells and rivers often contaminated. Without germ theory, people relied on tradition, adding vinegar to water. Vinegar's acetic acid lowered pH, killing harmful bacteria and making water safer. This simple act was chemical sterilization centuries before science caught up. Authorities sometimes misunderstood or regulated vinegar use, missing its true purpose. Still, the practice persisted in homes and on battlefields, protecting families and soldiers alike. A splash of sour wine could mean the difference between sickness and survival. Folk science, born of necessity, saved countless lives. What tasted sharp was, in fact, clean and safe. Vinegar was a quiet guardian against invisible threats. Copper pots were prized for even cooking, but they posed a hidden danger: copper toxicity. Medieval cooks ingeniously coated pots with animal fat before use. The fat formed a barrier, preventing acids from leaching copper into food. This early seasoning also created a non-stick surface, making cooking and cleaning easier. The technique was pure kitchen wisdom, passed down through generations. Copper pots remained a status symbol, but the fat trick was universal. It turned a hazardous tool into a safe, efficient one. Every cook knew the secret of the lard. This daily ritual was a celebration of practical chemistry. Fat and copper, an unlikely partnership for safe, delicious meals. Cheese was medieval wealth, but aging it meant battling mould and pests. The solution? Wrapping cheese in stinging nettle leaves. Nettles, rich in antimicrobial compounds, protected cheese from spoilage and pests. The leaves regulated moisture and created a microenvironment for safe aging. Monasteries favoured uniform methods, but nettle wrapping thrived in villages. This rustic technique was rooted in local landscapes and folk wisdom. It was biological pest control and preservation in one. Nettle-wrapped cheese, like today's Cornish yarg, is a living tradition. Medieval cheesemakers curated microbial environments long before science explained how. Their mastery endures in every wheel wrapped in wild leaves. Grains were the medieval staple, but phytic acid in bran blocked mineral absorption. Peasant wisdom found a fix soaking grains overnight in acidic whey. This started fermentation, activating phytase enzymes that broke down phytic acid. The result? More bioavailable minerals and better nutrition. This simple step prevented deficiencies like anemia and rickets. Sourdough bread uses the same principle: long fermentation for better health. Today's activated grains echo this ancient practice. Medieval cooks unlocked nutrition with observation, not lab tests. Their methods are now health trends, but the science is old. Sometimes the best solutions are rediscovered, not invented. Smoking meat was ancient, but medieval cooks refined it with juniper wood and berries. Juniper smoke was dense, aromatic, and packed with antimicrobial and antioxidant compounds. These chemicals killed bacteria, sealed the meat, and protected fats from rancidity. The result? Preserved meat that lasted months and tasted unique. This was chemistry in action: dehydration, chemical barriers, and flavour in one. Juniper-smoked foods became culinary traditions, from Black Forest ham to Scandinavian fish. What began as survival became celebrated flavour. Every smoky, piney bite is a taste of medieval ingenuity. The forest's chemistry conquered decay and hunger. Juniper smoke was both shield and signature. Medieval pantries hid powerful preservatives: honey, mustard and lime. Honey's low water and high sugar killed microbes, preserving fruit and even meat for months. Mustard, mixed with vinegar, released antimicrobial compounds, protecting and flavouring meat. For eggs, water glassing in alkaline lime solution sealed shells and blocked bacteria. Eggs stored this way stayed fresh for over a year, a lifeline in lean times. These methods were simple, effective, and born of necessity. Each used common ingredients to outsmart spoilage. Chemistry and tradition worked hand in hand. In a world without refrigeration, these tricks meant survival. Medieval households turned pantry staples into food security. Two medieval techniques, fat sealing and clay pot baking, showed mastery over food's enemies. Meat was poached in fat, packed in pots, and sealed under a layer of cooled fat, blocking air and bacteria. This confit method kept meat tender and edible all winter. Clay pot baking encased food in wet clay, placed in embers to create a steam-filled, even-heating oven. The clay protected, steamed, and cooked food perfectly. Both methods used simple materials to control moisture, oxygen, and heat. These were not just recipes, but engineering solutions. The fat and clay preserved flavour and nutrition. Modern Dutch ovens echo these ancient ideas. Medieval cooks turned earth and fat into tools of survival. Our journey ends not in darkness, but in admiration for medieval resilience and ingenuity. These were elegant practical solutions, born of necessity, refined by observation. The medieval peasant was a scientist of survival, their legacy alive in our kitchens today. Their knowledge wasn't written in books, but lived in tradition. By understanding their world, we appreciate our own. If you enjoyed this deep dive, subscribe and share your favourite medieval hack below. The past is full of secrets. Let's uncover them together.